All right. So it's day 2, round 2. Round 2 and 3 will be today for the NFL draft. And the NFL draft is going to start like in about an hour. So I'm going to give you guys real quick picks for the NFL draft, who I think is going to get picked. So, hey, I'm going to do a separate video about Shedeur. I just think it's messed up what the NFL did. Well, I just talk about it now. I think it's kind of messed up. I even said in my last video, yesterday, that it's a crime, man. Like, Shedeur is a first-round draft pick, and I see a lot of people. I hear a lot of people, a lot of analysts. I see like Chase Daniels and maybe Chase Daniels and some other analysts. I can't think off the top of my mind, but I don't want to say like knocking Shedeur, but not giving him the credit that he deserves. Saying that he's going to have a good career, and saying that Cam Ward and Jackson Dart is better than him, and then saying that he has reached his ceiling. Really? Come on. No, he has not. Shedeur Sanders is a dog. And not only is he a dog, he was raised by a dog. What the hell makes you think he is not going to be the competitors of the competitors? If he is a competitor and he is highly, highly confident. If you are a competitor and you are extraordinarily confident, so confident that where it makes other high-value people uncomfortable, what the hell makes you think that Shedeur is not going to be better off of that character right there? What makes you think he's not? He is going to do everything he possibly can to get better. He is the type of person that I feel like, that I believe, that I know, that is always going to be working on his game to get better, better, and better, better, and better. There is a reason why he is extremely intelligent. There is a reason why he played the game the way he did. There's a reason why he had that grit. You saw at Colorado how he was always getting hammered and he'll get right back up. Shedeur is not a big dude. He's not a physical guy. But he is tough. And you can't teach toughness. You can't teach grit. You can't teach confidence, self-confidence. You can't teach those things. He has all the intangibles. His intangibles are through the charts. And he is incredibly accurate. What the hell makes you think that he has reached his ceiling? That's just dumb to say that. That's stupid. I don't care, if Chase Daniels played at the NFL. I don't care if Chase Daniels was a quarterback. You can still lack common sense. And you can still be delusional. That makes absolutely no sense. I've watched Shedeur play. I know the game as well. And Shedeur, he's better than Cam Ward, and he's damn sure better than Jackson Dart. How can you even rationalize those two? And not only that, he went to Colorado. Colorado is nothing. And him and his father put that team, put that school, that organization on the map. Enough said. Shedeur is going to be a great player. And with that being said, I'm going to say that the Browns is going to pick him up. They're going to draft him. And he's going to bring Cleveland on the map. He is going to do what no other quarterback, what freaking Menzel, people want to talk about freaking Shedeur Sanders and, he's arrogant, he's cocky. I saw freaking Colin Cowherd like talking crap about him about freaking, because he had legendary in his draft room. Who gives a damn, bro? Who cares? You acting like he had guns in freaking gang signs and all around his draft room. He had fucking legendary in his draft room. That's his draft room. That's his brand. So what are you talking about? Like, who cares? That's what I'm saying. Like, you guys, like, you get a lot of these analysts and these people, they bring up stuff that's fucking irrelevant, that ruins like these players' like image, these young players' image. Who cares, bro? And and really, we all really should be making, Nick Saban said something that I really loved. He was pretty much saying, like, we're putting so much pressure on the situation. And I'm paraphrasing what Nick Saban said. But he was like, we're putting so much pressure on the situation of Shedeur. And we're increasing his expectations. And it's really not fair to the young man. If he was going to get picked in the first round, he'd get picked in the first round. Whatever. So, really, we should just stop talking about it. And Nick Saban is absolutely correct. And I'm paraphrasing, really, everything he said, because I can't remember specifically what he said, but what he said was just so accurate. Just look up, I guess, Nick Saban, Shedeur Sanders, NFL draft round 1, whatever. I don't know. But what he said was so right, and I think that's how the approach that everybody should be taking. But with that being said, everybody needs to shut up about Shedeur. You can't talk about his game, and you can't talk about his character. There's nothing bad about this dude that you could say. Now, if you want to talk about his physical traits, you want to say, oh, he's not physical specimen, maybe that can probably play effect in the NFL. You know, I get that. Stuff that actually makes sense. Stuff that's actually necessary. But you're talking about, oh, he's arrogant. I don't care if he's arrogant. There's a lot of guys that came into the NFL that was extremely arrogant. Who cares? I don't care how arrogant he is. And as a matter of fact, he doesn't rub me off as a person who is arrogant. He is just highly confident, extremely confident, as he should be. He's going to the NFL. He's an athlete. Any NFL player will tell you you're not going to make it in the pros by your lack of confidence. You can have all the physical traits. There are so many guys who had the physicality and who were extremely athletic, and they lacked the confidence, and they sucked. They were butts. Terrible. So many guys. 6'3", 6'4", 240, 230, running 4.2s, Taylor Mays. You know what I'm saying? Guys like that. And they were nothing. Nothing in the NFL. So please, shut up. Look, Shedeur, I don't got to tell Shedeur nothing. But I'm just going to say it. I want Shedeur to be even more than what he is. I want him to be even more extra out just to piss off everybody. Because there's nothing anybody can do about it. He's going to play. He's going to be in the NFL. He's going to be on a team. It's just a matter of time when. And I hope Shedeur does even more of what he does. I hope he does the 2 watches things every single time when he scores. Like, what the hell does it matter? Who cares? You talk about fucking Johnny Manziel, like people want to praise Johnny Manziel and Baker Mayfield. Those are the 2 most arrogant pricks that in the NFL that I see as quarterbacks. Same for Aaron Rodgers. But people waited till Aaron Rodgers got to the end of his league and started really dissing him. But people wanted to praise Johnny Manziel, who was completely overrated. Same for Baker Mayfield. So get over yourselves, man. Like, nah, man. Shedeur, he's a real deal. I wouldn't be saying he's a real deal if he wasn't. I've watched Shedeur play. I love his toughness. I love his grit. I love his confidence. Most of all, I love his intelligence. He is highly intelligent player. He has really great decision making, and he's a character. He has great character. His teammates doesn't say anything bad about him. His coaches doesn't say anything bad about him. Nobody in his circle who's been around him said anything bad about him. It's only the dumb, anonymous god players, or not players, but NFL personnel who's talking trash about him for whatever reason. Well, we all know the reason, though. It's his last name. That's the reason. Let's move on. Let's see. So Browns, if you're smart, Shedeur Sanders. Okay, Giants. So let's say I guess this guy is a wide receiver from Missouri, Luther Burden III. Tennessee Titans. So, okay, I got the Titans going with Will Johnson, from cornerback from Michigan. That'll be nice with him and Snead right there. You know, if Will Johnson can stay healthy, that'll be solid for him. Jacksonville Jaguars, Trayvon Henderson, running back out of Ohio State. That'll be a big pickup for Jacksonville. You know, Trayvon Henderson, Travis Hunter. Okay, we've been working with something. All right, so you got the Raiders. Okay, so I think he's an offensive tackle out of Minnesota. Air Ante Irsay, offensive tackle out of Minnesota. The Patriots. So I got the Patriots. Caleb Johnson, running back out of Iowa. Chicago Bears, Ryan Poles. Let's see what you're gonna do for my boy Caleb Williams. So I got them going with offense again. They do need a running back. So they got, and this is a deep running back draft. So Quinshawn Judkins, running back out of Ohio State. New Orleans Saints. So the Saints, this will be an interesting one. So let's look. So maybe the Saints go with Jalen Milroe, quarterback out of Alabama. That'll be interesting. The Jets. Let's see what the Jets got. I'm going to say the Jets going to pick up Benjamin Morrison, cornerback out of Notre Dame. Arizona Cardinals. Let's see. Donovan Jackson, guard out of Ohio State. Dallas Cowboys. What Jerry Jones got. So the Dallas Cowboys, I'm gonna say they're gonna go again in the trenches, offensive lineman center. Jonah Monheim, center out of USC. Miami Dolphins, general manager Chris Greer. I'm gonna say they're gonna go with defensive tackle Ohio State, Tyleek Williams. The Colts, general manager Chris Ballard, he's gonna pick T.J. Sanders, defensive tackle out of South Carolina. The Seattle Seahawks, general manager John Snyder. So Donovan Ezerico, edge out of Boston College. Denver Broncos, George Patton, the general manager George Patton, he's gonna pick Kyle Williams, wide receiver out of Washington State. The Atlanta Falcons, their general manager Terry Fontenot. Let's say the Atlanta Falcons, they're gonna get safety out of Texas Tech. The Dadrian Taylor Demerson, safety he's safety out of Texas Tech. The Bengals, who they got? Their general manager is Duke Tobin. And I'm going to say, okay, center out of Alabama, Parker Browsford. The Chargers. Let's see what Joe Ortiz going to get. I'm going to say they go with edge. Edge out of Marshall, Mike Green. Let's see here. Mike Green, he would be like a top 30 talent if he ends up there. He had 40 pressures too in 2024. Okay, so Washington Commanders, general manager Adam Peters. So I'm gonna say the Washington Commanders, I guess they'll go tight end. Elijah Arroyo, tight end out of Miami. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're going to get Josiah Stewart, edge out of Michigan. Yeah, especially with, that can pair well with TJ Watt, or if they somehow end up losing TJ Watt. So the Baltimore Ravens, they're going to get, I'm saying the Baltimore Ravens is going to get Torrey Horton. He's actually a pretty good wide receiver out of Colorado State. Yeah, he's actually pretty good. I like him. The Green Bay Packers. So they're going to get... So I got the Green Bay Packers getting TJ Guy, edge out of Michigan. The Houston Texans. I think the Texans possibly could go wide receiver here, maybe. Trey Harris, wide receiver out of Ole Miss. He's pretty good at contesting catch rate. He has an 80% contesting catch rate. So that would be pretty solid. And San Francisco 49ers, John Lynch, who we going to get? Maxwell Hairston, cornerback out of Kentucky. Yeah, John Lynch, he loves athletic defenders. And they need a cornerback post Charvarius Ward. So that will be solid for them. The Rams is going to get... I guess they'll get another edge. Jack Sawyer, edge out of Ohio State. The Vikings, I think they're going to go linebacker. They're going to get a linebacker out of Charlotte, Demetrius Knight Jr. And the Bills, who they going to get? So their general manager is Brandon Bean. Jermail Nielsen, wide receiver out of Oregon. The Eagles. Who's Howie Roseman going to get? Siobhan Revel Jr., cornerback out of East Carolina. Kansas City Chiefs, general manager Brett Veach, great general manager. I'm going to say they're going to get Andrew Makuba, safety out of Texas. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers getting Harold Fanning Jr., tight end out of Bowling Green. 63rd pick, Detroit Lions. They're going to get an edge out of Texas A&M, Nick Scorton. He's actually pretty solid. I watched him play. Let's see here. Carolina Panthers. So I'm going to do this again because some of these players were already picked. So, I'm going to say the New York Giants, they're going to go with Trayvon Henderson, running back out of Ohio State. Tennessee Titans, Caleb Johnson, running back out of Iowa. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they're going to go cornerback Benjamin Morrison out of Notre Dame. The Las Vegas Raiders, they're going to go offensive tackle Eraonte Ursary, offensive tackle out of Minnesota. The Patriots, they're going to go Quinshon Judkins, running back out of Ohio State. The Chicago Bears, they're going to go defensive tackle Tyleik Williams, defensive tackle out of Ohio State. The New Orleans Saints, they're going to get Jalen Milroe, quarterback out of Alabama. The Jets, they're going to get Donovan Ezoruka, edge out of Boston College. The Cardinals, they're going to go with Torrey Horton, wide receiver out of Colorado State. Yeah, he'd be a good compliment with Marvin Harrison Jr. The Dolphins, Chris Gear, he's going to pick up T.J. Sanders, defensive tackle out of South Carolina. The Colts, Chris Ballard, he's going to pick up Trey Harris, wide receiver out of Ole Miss. The Seahawks, the general manager John Schneider is going to get Jack Sawyer, edge out of Ohio State. The Broncos, they're going to get Kyle Williams, wide receiver out of Washington State. The Falcons, they're going to go Dadrion Taylor Demerson, safety out of Texas Tech. The Bengals, they're going to go with Parker Browsford, center out of Alabama. The Chargers, they're going to go with Mike Green, edge out of Marshall. The Commanders, they're going to go with tight end out of Miami, Elijah Ario. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they're going to get Josiah Stewart, edge out of Michigan. The Ravens, they're going to go with Isaiah Bond, wide receiver out of Texas. Green Bay Packers, they're going to go with TJ Guy, edge out of Michigan. The Texans, they're going to go with Demetrius Knight Jr., linebacker out of Charlotte. The Vikings, they're going to go with Jamil Nielsen, wide receiver out of Oregon. The Rams, they're going to go with Andrew Mukaba, safety out of Texas. The 49ers, they're going to go with Harold Fanning Jr., tight end out of Bowling Green. The Bills, they're going to go with Deontay Walker, defensive tackle out of Kentucky. The Cowboys, they're going to go with Jonah Monheim, center out of USC. The Eagles, they're going to go with Barrett Carter, another linebacker, and out of Clemson. Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to go with Xavier Watts, safety out of Notre Dame. The Lions, they're going to go with Ashton Gillett. I think that's pronounced the name. Gillett, edge out of Louisville. The Carolina Panthers, they're going to go with Donovan Jackson, guard out of Ohio State. The Buccaneers, they're going to go with Dalen Everett, cornerback out of Georgia. All right, so that's round 2. So round 3, let's see here. Round 3. Browns, pick it first, pick again. Matter round for round 3. Kamari Lassiter, cornerback out of Georgia. New York Giants, they're going to go with Isaiah Adams, the guard out of Illinois. And the Titans, they're going to go with Jordan Travis, quarterback out of Florida State. The Jaguars, they're going to go with Landon Jackson, edge out of Arkansas. The Raiders, they're going to go with Brant Queeth, tight end out of Utah. The Patriots, they're going to go with Brandon. All right, so the Patriots, they're going to go with Alfred Collins, defensive tackle out of Texas. The Bears, they're going to go with DeMonte Capehart, defensive tackle out of Clemson. The Saints, Ajeni Cornelius, offensive tackle out of Oregon. The Jets, they're going to go with Gabe Hall, defensive tackle out of Baylor. The Cardinals, they're going to go with Jalen Berger, running back out of Michigan State. The Dolphins, they're going to go with Zane Durant, defensive tackle out of Penn State. The Colts, they're going to go with Kalen King, cornerback out of Penn State. The Seahawks, they're going to go with Isaiah Wooden, wide receiver out of Southern Utah. The Broncos, they're going to go with Jayshawn Barham, linebacker out of Michigan. The Falcons, they're going to go with Sean Brown, guard out of Florida. The Bengals, they're going to go with Rod Moore, safety out of Michigan. The Chargers, they're going to go another edge, Keyshawn Banks, edge out of San Diego State. The Commanders, they're going to go with Blake Miller, offensive tackle out of Clemson. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they're going to go with Jalen Wright, running back out of Tennessee. The Ravens, they're going to go with Jalen Carlis, safety out of Missouri. The Green Bay Packers, they're going to go with J.J. Lapp, wide receiver out of Wake Forest. The Texans, they're going to go with Xavier Thomas, edge out of Clemson. The Vikings, they're going to go with Kevin Winston Jr., safety out of Penn State. The Rams, they're going to go with Tyron Hooper, linebacker out of Missouri. The 49ers, they're going to go with Cameron Williams, offensive tackle out of Texas. The Bills, they're going to go with Jalen Calhoun, wide receiver out of Duke. The Cowboys, they're going to go with Jalen Sundell, offensive tackle out of North Dakota State. The Seahawks, they're going to go with Luke Kandra, guard out of Cincinnati. The Saints, they're going to go with Jamari Thrash, wide receiver out of Louisville. The Cleveland Browns, they're going to go with Antoine Wells Jr., wide receiver out of Ole Miss. The Chiefs, they're going to go with Jalen Catalon, safety out of, I think it's University of Las Vegas, I believe that is, UNLV. The Philadelphia Eagles, they're going to go with Jordan Morgan, offensive tackle out of Arizona. And then the Eagles, they're going to go with Danny Stutzman, linebacker out of Oklahoma. And that concludes rounds 2 and 3. And I'll do a round 4 maybe sometime later on tonight or tomorrow. And I will also do a recap for round 1, see how accurate I was at round 1. I probably wasn't really that accurate. You know, a lot of this stuff I was kind of doing on top of my head from players that I know and players that I assumed that was going to get picked, and using AI too, so to know about all the players that were eligible and drafted, because I wanted to do all 7 rounds. So like I said, I haven't really been watching college football, so I only know really like the star athletes and all the athletes from coming out of USC, because I'm a USC fan. So, but this year I'll do a little better watching college football, you know, regardless if it's boring or not, if I'm going to start doing mock drafts, because mock drafts are kind of fun, you know. So yeah, so let me know what y'all think, man. Like, you know, for you college football fanatics out there, what do you think? You think that I get some players that were way too high or way too low? You know, let me know, you know. So yeah, we'll be back soon, all day. Peace.